Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be working with plaster and pouring some angel ornaments. So the first thing I want to do is pour 1 3/4 cups of water. And let me find 3/4. Okay. And now I want a cup of PVC glue. Alright, let's set that aside. Okay, let's go ahead and mix this up. Now the plaster I bought is pre-measured in bags, so all I'm going to have to do is dump the entire bag in. And let's get that mixed up. In the past, what I've done is just mixed up the plaster with water, and then whenever I pour it in the molds and take it out, I put a felt back on the ornaments to try to give them a little more stability, because plaster gets pretty hard, but it can also break pretty easily. It's not like a ceramic. But then I found this recipe that said to add glue. These are little Angel Christmas ornaments. Another thing I'm going to try is putting some nonstick spray inside. Try to make them release a little bit easier. I've broken a few wings trying to get them out before. Okay, so we're just going to Okay, we're going to try this again. It's a little less than 24 hours, but I'm still going to give it a try. And I did just want to tell you, one thing that I did was in the empty container, I poured just a little bit of the plaster in and used a paintbrush and kind of painted it over very thinly before I poured the rest of it in on top of that. So just trying to see if that might help. Now, again, you want to keep this low to the table. Uh-oh. Okay, we got one out. Let's take a look at it. Oh, it's much better. They're still pretty wet. I can feel it. But there are no bubbles in this one. Let me see if I can get some light on this. Yeah, there is no, or are no bubbles in that one. So I'm going to go ahead and take these out. Tomorrow night we'll come back here and we'll paint. I'm not sure if the camera is going to pick this up, But I had glued a wing, which really you can work with that. But if you can see, there was a bubble right at the nose, and so there's a little hole. That's really not going to be workable. So I'm going to use this one to test out a few colors and a few antiquing colors. So we're going to lay this one down here, and we're going to start with it. So what I have done with the others, let me get those out of the way, is like on this one, you can see some rough edges. I just took a knife and I smoothed those edges out all the way around. So I have picked out this Sunkissed Peach color. It's just a paint from Walmart. It is the Apple Barrel brand that I'm using today. But any acrylic paint, craft paint is going to be fine. And we're just going to give it a really rough coat so that we can get it to dry. And we'll go ahead and go up here. Okay. I want to pull some yellow, and I'm using kind of a, it's not a dark yellow, but it's not pale either. I wanted something kind of in the middle, I guess. And we'll just put that on the hair real quick. Okay, now we just want this to dry, and we're going to come back with a few different stains, and we're going to see which one gives us the most details without darkening it too much. Okay, this is antique wax. So we're going to try this first. I've never used it. And basically, you use a brush. And we're just going to do a very small spot over here on the little hand. Okay, now you take a towel, anything that's lint-free, and you want to remove it. So you can kind of see what it does there. It gives you a little more definition on the fingers. Instead of them looking just like a solid peach, it kind of brings out some of the details. And the same thing would happen when you do the hair and the wings if you decide to antique the wings. Now what we're going to do is I also have a stain. It is oak stain. Get a little bit on. Again, I want to remove a lot of it. And we'll go over here and do this hand. Oops, I removed too much. Okay. And you can see, I think I like this shade a little bit better. It's not quite so dark. They're both going to be dark, but that one's just a little bit different. And this one, because it's a stain, it doesn't have the same sheen that this is going to have, but that's okay because we're going to put a sealer on it anyway. This is strictly for bringing out some details that otherwise you wouldn't see. So we'll go ahead and put a little more on since I think I've decided on this stain versus the wax. As you want. Okay, so let me find one of these just to show you. Instead of being very plain, there's no features really showing. Once you put an antique on, it gets into the little cracks and crevices and just brings out a little more detail. So I think that's the one we're going to go with. So okay, so I have some of these metallics. I've got a couple of different, maybe 3 different shades of gold. This one is called Pure Gold. And all of these paints can be picked up at a hobby store or Walmart. Let me get it here instead. This one may be about empty, but on something this small, I'm sure I have plenty. Now, these are metallics. So what you can do is leave them metallic, or while they're wet, you can sprinkle some glitter on them, or you can wait until they're completely dry, and then you can put your sealer on, your clear sealer, and then add some glitter if you want. But let's grab another one. This one is called Antique Gold. I'll put them side by side so you can see them. And that may be the only ones I brought in here. It is. The others lean toward a copper and a rose gold, so I didn't even bring those in here. Oh, wait a second. Nope, I think I just misspoke. I have one called Inca Gold, so we'll go ahead and get that one out too. It's really a yellowy, a paler but more yellow. And they're all pretty. It really is dependent on if you're going to use glitter on top of them, because if you're going to glitter them, then go with the one that's probably your least favorite. Don't waste the metallic that you would use if you wanted it to be strictly that color. But yeah, they're all pretty, honestly. I've already put a coat, as you can see, of the peach on. So we're going to do some hair next. The last thing I do is the metallics, because they are going to be a darker paint and they're going to be metallic. So I don't want to try to put my antiquing on top of a metallic. So I just want to do that last. Okay, so again, we're just going to lay this little guy aside. I just wanted to kind of go over with you some colors and show you the difference in leaving your angel just a peach color versus adding an antique to it. One other thing, I mentioned that you can kind of work with it if you have a broken wing, if you can glue it back in really well. And what I meant by that was, even though you can still kind of see it through the metallic paint, you can glitter it and it will go away. So if you were to pour some of these and break a little wing, don't worry about that. Glue it back on. That's one you would just know you're going to do something special with that wing like glitter. Okay, so let's move him out of the way. So you can see I kind of start by outlining the face, and if you're uncomfortable or your brush isn't the best, then just steady your hand, get just the tip of the brush, and then just kind of push forward just a little bit. Take your time and just go all the way around the face. And then the rest of it is a quick fill-in. Now, as you may have guessed, when you make it a brunette, the stain is not going to give as much detail because it's brown on brown. So you're not going to get quite as much detail, but it's still cute if you just want to mix it up. Or if you're making it an ornament for somebody special and you want to make it like them. And if they're a brunette, then of course you're going to want to give them a little brunette. Okay, so we're going to let those dry. What I'm doing right now is if I think I've left too much, or maybe it's rough looking and not smooth, I just dampen a cloth and rub over it and try to smooth it out so it doesn't look rough. And again, how much you do that, how much you take off is completely up to you. It's just a personal preference, really. If you really want it to look antique, then you're going to want to leave the bulk of it on there, right? But see, now right then, I feel like I took a little too much off that finger. I'm just going to dab a little on and do just what I did a while ago. Just give it, put a little more color back on it. We're going to let this stain dry before we work with it again. I decided to go ahead and paint one and not stain it, just so you could see the difference. You may want the brighter instead of the antique look. You may want a brighter one, so I thought, let's just do one.
Hey guys, just wanted to pop in real quick with a voiceover. I realized I didn't talk about how to do the eyes. You can use a paintbrush or even a toothpick, but what I use honestly is a fine tip Sharpie. You literally outline the eye shape and then just put a little dot in there.
Okay. Now, he's still going to look a lot different once we spray him and get him glossy. But let's just bring one over here. Do a little side by side. One other thing I'd mentioned earlier is if you were going to paint the back of it, I would take a Sharpie or paint and just go ahead and put the date on it, the year that you did it. I have some where me and my mom took ceramic classes years ago, and I found some ornaments that we had put 1991 on, so those are kind of special. It's kind of a fun memory, and now I know exactly when we did it. So that's kind of a neat thing, especially if you're giving them as a gift for somebody to look back on. You can kind of see how this gold separated. I don't know if it's old or what happened there, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to use some glitter. So we're going to lay down our little angel. Okay, I'm just going to use some Mod Podge. Put the felt on it. I'm just using the Mod Podge again. Okay, so we have this one.